Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post another quick video here. This is going to be my next set of lottery questions for Robert Z's 2023 Vinyl Community Lottery. This is going to be question number 6 and 7, actually. And I'm going to do a quick addendum to question number 4, where we were asked to kind of talk about a Mount Rushmore, of like 4 of our favorite vocalists or artists. And I kind of shifted it a little bit and did more of a mascot, type of sculpture is what I said I would want. No, I picked like Eddie from Iron Maiden and Rattlehead from Megadeth and all that good stuff. So Robert Z was kind of like, well, who would be the 4 artists, like vocalists, that you would put up there because they're kind of, you think are the most amazing vocalists. So yeah, let me just kind of do a quick addendum to that really quick, not spending much time on it at all. But the 3 automatic, like I always say, if people say, who are your top 3 vocalists of all time? These are my automatic 3. It's a given. Number 1, Wilson Pickett, the one and only. I mean, the man who I said whenever he performed, he had to plug his voice in because he needed like power to actually fuel the strength of his voice. Just one of the most amazing R&B and soul artists, and he's number 1 on my all-time favorite vocalist list. The next 2, I'll show them together because they really kind of go hand in hand in my mind. These are always my number 2 and number 3, which is Sam Cooke and Steve Perry, because basically they're the same. I mean, Steve Perry is nothing more than Sam Cooke singing rock, and Sam Cooke is nothing more than Steve Perry singing R&B and soul. Like they are the exact same in my mind. And I'm not a vocalist, and I don't know all the like terminology and all of that, but there's just something about the way they put inflections on their notes, the way they transition between notes, like they do it the exact same, and it's a freaking beautiful thing. So those are always my top 3 vocalists. It's a given. Number 4 can bounce around a lot because on any given day, I could put Tina Turner in there and pull her out. I could put Aretha Franklin in there, pull her out. I could put David Ruffin, from the Temptations. I could put him in there and pull him out. Today, I'm going to default to number 4 as Bobby Womack. And same thing, just one of the legendary soul vocalists where as soon as you hear his voice, you know it's him. And he can even turn a bad song to be pretty good just because of the way he delivers it. You just that soulful grit. Like, he's a great singer. Does he smoke 4 packs a day? Like, he has just that little extra edge that just makes his stuff, awesome. So that's what I'm going to choose today. Like I said, the number 4 spot can flip around a lot, but those first 3 are absolute givens. So that's kind of an addendum to that question number 4. So question number 6, you're doing a 50-year concert kind of celebrating music. So you're gonna get some bands to represent the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Who are those bands gonna be? Of course, I had to narrow this down somehow because that's just too big of a question. And also, the question is so big that there's kind of some givens if you don't really set parameters. Like, how can you not pick Hendrix? How can you not pick Led Zeppelin? How could you not pick Nirvana? Like, these are bands that are so big that if you had the opportunity to see them, you would almost be foolish to not, just because it's them kind of thing. But I chose to kind of approach it a little bit differently, which is number 1, I kept all R&B out of it because that just creates a whole nother issue. So no R&B and no hip hop in this. So that helped. And then the other thing too is I kind of thought about it from, I'm just sitting there. Who do I want to see on stage? And even more importantly, what songs do I want to see performed live by these people in their primes? So I made it a very, very selfish thing and not, I'm really trying to show the world and celebrate the greatness of music because there's certain bands you have to pick if you're doing that. So that's kind of how I got down to my parameters on this. Very selfish, so it may not make as much sense. So for example, like starting off here with the 60s, and of course some of these artists go across decades and all of that, but I'm going with Chuck Berry. If I'm thinking about having the perfect seat and having this festival or whatever else, I would love to see Chuck Berry in his prime doing his thing. You know, like that would just be freaking mind blowing. You guys have seen that poster that I have here. Well, actually, here, I'll just give you a quick shot of it. Like every time I see that, I'm just like, wow. Like I walked into a record store and that was hanging on the wall in the back. It wasn't for sale. And I just remember sitting there looking at it and staring at it, and the way it made me feel, I just went to ask the guy, I was like, dude, I know that's not for sale, but is there any way you can sell me that? And he finally was like, yeah, sure, if it means that much to you, whatever else. And I love even just seeing that. So that's one, that'd be my 60s pick. 70s, again, the plethora of stuff. And it's kind of, do you go classic rock? Do you go, and I just kind of thought, I think I got to go Ramones. Because I'm thinking about mid-late 70s, CBGB's level, raw Ramones. It's like, that's something that you kind of have to see. So again, you can think how many bands get passed up in the 70s for that, but I think that would be a great pick. Matter of fact, like one of the ones that was right on the list for the 70s was Jim Croce. You know, that's one that didn't quite make the cut, which is why I was sitting over here. Because a lot of times with these things, I'll wait until right when I push record before I actually make the choice, because I can't figure it out. But I just kind of thought, you know, seeing him just sitting on stage on a stool with his guitar doing what he does, like how amazing would that be? So there we go. So going to the 80s, and again, guys, I know I'm skipping over Hendrix, I'm skipping over Zeppelin, you know, Janis Joplin, and I know, but somehow this made sense of how I got here. 80s, I'm going Van Halen. You know, to see Hagar and Van Halen when in their prime, you know, being able to perform like this, like one of my favorite albums ever. I mean, it's just, again, that's who I would want to see there in their prime doing their thing. And there's 1,000 other ones I could slide in there and probably be close to being just as happy, but that's what I'm going with today. 90s, going with the Black Crowes. You know, again, being able to see them in their prime, kind of performing Shake Your Money Maker and stuff off of Harmony here. That would be just, number one, a very cool thing. But to hear that music, it's just, I would love to hear Sting Me performed live in their prime, because Sting Me, in my opinion, is one of the top 20 best rock and roll songs ever. It's rock and roll perfection, the perfect mixture of southern rock, R&B, soul, gospel. Like all of that is perfectly weaved, blues. It's all perfectly weaved into that song. And yeah, so anyway, that's my pick for the 90s. And 2000s, again, I was thinking about all the different bands, you know, like maybe Wild Nothing, Belle Sebastian, like, you know, the bands in the 2000s I listened to the most. Jason Isbell, you know, might be another one to throw in there. But for some strange reason, I thought if I could go to that concert today, I would love to see Muriel Grossman, you know, one of my favorite modern day jazz artists. And, you know, she's not a big, gigantic name artist or anything, or, you know, she's selling her stuff on Bandcamp and just, you know, trying to make a name for herself and all of that. But she's just an artist that I would love to see. And mainly because, to me, she's kind of a reincarnation of John Coltrane. You know, she sounds like Coltrane, has his feel, has his flavor. Now, no one's Coltrane, don't get me wrong. But she is, if she told me she was related to Coltrane, had some of his blood in her, I would believe it. So, so she has some Coltrane blood in her. Let's put it that way. And so yeah, I mean, just that's one modern day artist that I would absolutely love to see. So yeah, again, I know probably weird picks for how we think about that question, but that would be a great little history of music in terms of me being kind of selfish and thinking about what I would enjoy so much. All right, so then really quick here, question number 7. Actually, I take that back. What I'm going to do is, because we're already at the 9-minute mark here, I'll do a second video for question 7, and then we'll go from there. All right, so thanks for watching, guys, and we will talk to you soon.